Oh dear. Well, sorry folks, we lost the last part of that interview. That should not have cut that early. I will have the full interview posted over on the YouTube page, youtube.com/The Rob and Dan Show, after we get done today. Back at it here. We are getting very close to Museosaurs versus the GlowWater Thralls. Oracle joining me once again. Oracle, what do you think we are going to get between Museosaurs and the GlowWater Thralls today?
I want to say it's going to be a really close match. If I'm going to be realistic, though, the GlowWater Thralls are kind of the powerhouses in this group, and the Museosaurs are kind of ragtag. I mean, what do you do against the sort of coordination that the GlowWater Thralls consistently show?
I'm honestly not sure.
It's really tough. It's really tough to try and put it down. I guess one way of looking at it is they split up, and so there always is a chance. But at the same time, they do it so well.
Certainly.
It's going to be difficult to find an opening. And so the Museosaurs are going to have to really look for those moments.
Looking over, by the way, update on the cake match. The cake match did start just about 10 minutes ago. Sacrilege and Cake are still 0-0.
Interesting. Now, that's not what I was expecting.
It's very much a long-range standoff from the looks of things, where Sacrilege has taken just a little bit of fire, and they're playing it very defensively.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this out, because I'm kind of interested. I want to see how Cake is doing, because apparently they've really stepped up their game.
They have. Well, they're going toe-to-toe with Sacrilege right now, which, I mean, that's a big deal. Sacrilege is a very well-trained team, a well-organized team. They have also stepped their game up in a major way in the last 6 months or so, and doing a stellar job. They did a very good job last week. They are holding their own this week, it looks like, but Cake is starting to put some pressure on them. No kills yet, though. No kills yet. It looks like it's going to be a very long, drawn-out game.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could watch all of it. I mean, that's kind of the sad thing about commentating on these games. I mean, the cool thing is, I actually get to be in here. The problem is I don't get to watch every game. Well, unless I go live. I get to go back and watch the recording.
Lucky enough, there are VODs available for all matches. Alistair actually just linked the different threads we have for all the VODs available for the Hephaestus challenge from both streams. Thank you to Alistair for that. Thank you to the organizers, too, of the Hephaestus challenge, doing an amazing job of getting things organized and keeping things moving very smoothly. Puppy Fur is going to be our referee on this one. Crews are getting in. Bubbles is going to be flying a galleon on this one. And
Nice
Cuvias is going to be flying the Songbird, his traditional Pyramidion. So we'll go and switch over to the lobby screen loadout so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about here. Again, it's going to be on Duel at Dawn. It's a very close-up map where there's going to be a lot of brawling. Let's just quickly look over. What do you see these two teams doing here? What do you predict going on for the Muse team and for the GlowWater Thralls team?
What? They're doing it.
What?
Harpoon on the port side of the occasional victory.
Oh dear.
They're doing it. Songbirds got Gat Mortar. So we're looking at a Metamidian support Galleon. That's pretty interesting. Apraxia Leary. Going with... Okay, so these builds are kind of interesting. You have the Hwacha on the front of the Apraxia Leary. With a Mine Launcher on the side. Interestingly enough. Duel at Dawn, I can see that. I can see wanting to do that. Thank you, Caroline. Also a Metamidian. This is kind of what I was talking about during my during the talk show yesterday with Rotted Beef. We were expecting to see like Metamidians being complemented with something else as people learn to fight the Metamidians better, the double meta better.
Certainly.
And that's what we're seeing. I think teams are starting to do this a little bit preemptively, because they're saying, you know what, this is something we're not going to be able to pull out all the time. Something that we're going to have to do occasionally, because otherwise we're going to get crushed. It's going to be situational. So they're going to be running it as support and sort of tanking and defending its ally.
Gotcha. Alrighty, folks. It looks like, checking over on the cake match, no one has died yet still.
Yeah, it's a sniper match. You have 3 Mobulas in that game. No, 2 Mobulas against 2 Pyramidians.
Yep.
I can see that. The Cake is a little bit tentative to
And
try
Alistair,
and get aggressive.
the reason why those links aren't entirely working is because of the commas in them. There are commas in the URLs. Yeah, they're breaking it up ever so slightly. Anywho, oh boy, going over these ships really quick here. The Songbird, we've seen Kivias pilot the Songbird a lot. It's a Metamidian, Flamer and Flare support. We just saw that from from Luosi's Pyramidian in the previous game. I forget what it's called. LibGTK, the LibGTK. Yep. There it is. I forgot the name of it for a second there. And as you were saying, with the Galleon, it has a side harpoon up against a Lumberjack and a Manticore Heavy Hwacha. We'll see how that works out. We'll see. Also have a Carronade and Hwacha on the other side. We'll see how that works out. We should be getting going here pretty shortly here, checking the time. Yeah, we have about 2.5 minutes until go time is initiated. We'll keep updated with the Cake match over on Imagine 42's stream as best as possible. I want to welcome you all once again to twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show and the Hephaestus Challenge. So glad to have you here. It's going to be a fantastic match, folks. If you're also interested in checking out E3 coming up this Monday, or at least the E3 press conferences, Rob and I will be covering them in total through other streams and with our own analysis going on. Tons of fun. It's something Rob and I do every single year, and we always we rip people apart, and we almost feel bad about it, but it's the big corporate press conferences, so we really don't feel that bad.
They've been getting a little bit sillier as time has gone on. I used to be excited. But now it's just kind of like,
they're
goofy.
Extremely silly nowadays. Extremely silly. Both teams are readying up. The Muse team did need to get a few fill-ins. They grabbed Frogger, of all people, from the Ducks, as well as Aoi Fox from Holy.
Yep, that's Aoi, probably.
Aoi?
Ao is blue in Japanese.
Oh, okay. Aoi?
Aoi. Yep.
Alistair's still trying to figure out how to make that link work, by the way. Oh my goodness. I feel bad for Alistair.
I can't see all of it even.
Yeah, it cut off a little bit. Looking over again to the Cake match. No change.
We're going to be getting started in 1 minute here. We do want to try to start at the 2:05. Yeah, Puppy First says don't start yet. We're trying to keep everything on schedule.
Yep.
Keep everything timed. Make sure that we're doing all that we can to keep games from overlapping, while still keeping things going efficiently. Just so that everyone can catch as much of the action as possible. If you're not aware, both streams are available. You can watch them side by side if you want over at robindan.tv/live.
Yep.
I believe it is. Yep.
You got it.
If you want to just go and see the other stream as well, right now Sacrilege is going up against Cake. Right now it's still 0-0. It's a double Mobula versus double Pyramidian. Looks like it's full sniping. So, but they're changing positions a lot. Like, it's a very active sniping match. So if you're interested in that kind of thing,
worried. I'm really worried that match might go to the time limit.
It's possible.
It's
definitely possible with the way that they're flying. The way they're flying pretty defensively, though hull damage is happening.
All right, so Puppy Fur has said we can start the match. We should see all captains ready up here very shortly. They were itching to go early on. It's going to be the Occasional Victory and Songbird versus the Apraxia Leary and the Thank You Caroline second game of today's Hephaestus Challenge right here at twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show. The map is going to be a duel at dawn. Go ahead and please tell us about the map, Oracle.
It's tight, very tight quarters, lower flight ceiling. Lots of rubble, lots of jagged rubble down low if you get low enough. Lots of stuff to get caught on, so you end up with a lot of brawling going on. Very close engagements a lot of the time. Sniping definitely is a possibility, and you can pin people down behind cover very hard in this map. But oftentimes, the cloud cover will not allow for any sniping.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and get the ships going here. First off, the occasional victory for Museosaurs, piloted by Bubbles. On the left-hand side, we have a Lumberjack and a Heavy Hwacha with Harpoon support and a Flamer on the back. Right-hand side, Hwacha and Carronade. We also have the Songbird, Kivias' Pyramidion. It's a Metamidion, Gap Mortar front with Flamer and Flare support. Go ahead, Oracle.
And for the GlowWater Thralls, we have the Apraxia, a goldfish being piloted by Nid. It has a Hwacha on the front with a flamethrower on the port side and a Carronade on the starboard. Aboard the Thank You Caroline, a Pyramidion being piloted by Fiasco Total, already taking damage. We have a Gap Mortar setup with a Flamer and a Flare already taking fire from the Songbird.
I saw someone actually falling through the Thank You Caroline as that fire was coming in and as you were doing loadouts. I'm worried there might be a bug issue with character models there in the Thank You Caroline, but hopefully it won't be a problem.
I'm doing okay.
Okay. Praxiliri is taking quite a bit of fire. Occasional victory has been tanking so far for the Museosaurs. Praxiliri is being forced backwards, but this is going to give an opportunity for the Thank You Caroline to swing in with that Gap Mortar and do some damage. Praxiliri loses its armor. Songbird's moving in with the Gap Mortar. Solid bump. I believe impact bumpers are thrown up on the Praxiliri. Almost no damage whatsoever occurred.
Yeah, they're going to be okay. Armor is very easy to repair on the Goldfish. Thank you, Caroline, coming around for defense, potentially. Balloons down. They're having trouble turning. And the Songbird has a very good angle on the Apraxia, running away from the Apraxia, or running away from the Songbird, but into the nasty arms of the occasional victory, who is just waiting for a good shot. Lumberjack gonna pop the balloon. Songbird still on it, but the Thank You, Caroline is here for defense. Gatling getting loaded into the broadside of the Songbird.
Well, Praxiliri is definitely in some trouble here. Armor goes down. They're going to bump. Major bump. Hull goes down. First point for the Museosaurs.
However, Songbird eating a lot of Gatling fire, a lot of it going into the engines as well. Armor is down. Mortar going straight into the hull, and there it goes, 100-0. But now the Thank You Caroline has a nice shot on the occasional victory. A lot of that Gatling missing as they try to turn into Arc.
They did have a harpoon shot. They had a harpoon shot into the Thank You Caroline, but it looks like they let it go early.
It's not that they let it go. It's just that it expired. It expires very quickly. Apraxia and Songbird both spawning in very close. Hwacha gets loaded into the occasional victory. Any disables? Nothing.
Nothing.
No full disables. That is going to be a huge problem. Songbird moving in on the Thank You Caroline, trying to stymie that kill potential.
Songbird and Thank You Caroline going at it. Thank You Caroline is going to go above the Songbird's arcs while keeping the Songbird itself in arc of its own Gatling cannon.
There it is.
Songbird's trying to get out. Great disable on the occasional victory. Everything but a gun and an engine are down on that galleon. Yep. Apraxia has that galleon right where they want it.
Right now, the Songbird getting the worst of the Thank You Caroline. It drops down fast enough and far enough to get out of the arc of that mortar. And this is where the fight's going to be, I gotta say. The Apraxia is just going to keep the occasional victory locked down. It's going to be a while, but it's going to be a kill unless the Songbird comes in. Thank You, Caroline. Had to back up. And now the rubble is in the way. The Apraxia in a very compromising position right now.
Not a great situation for the Apraxia. He's forced to give the occasional victory a chance to repair all of their components. Everything but 3 guns are back up. Songbird, though, getting some pretty serious pressure from the Thank You Caroline coming in behind it. Songbird is going to try and get out of this, but it's just not happening. Mortar comes in 2-1 in favor of the GlowWater Thralls.
Yep, the occasional victory did a really good job of tanking those shots, but it took too long to rise up into that fight. I feel like the Songbird should have dropped down to its ally earlier, but now the occasional victory is going to get loaded up with Gap Mortar, and I think that's just about all she wrote, Dan.
That is going to be it. Absolutely goes down. Songbird spawns in, though. This is a meat grind scenario. Songbird should not have spawned in there. That was a major, major mistake on Kivias' part. Apraxia and Thank You Caroline are going to eat it alive.
Yep. At this point, it's such a huge mistake when you get when you get a meat grind going. It's so disappointing because I mean, you fight so hard for these kills, and then you just end up giving one up. But no, the Songbird doing a good job. Oh, occasional victory, firing on its own ally there. Oopsie daisy. Now it picks the thank you, Caroline.
Great
out.
shots on the
goes
thank
down.
you, Caroline.
Doesn't even matter. Man, the Lumberjack just does so much damage. I think he was using charged ammo.
Yep, great shots. Great
No,
shots.
it wasn't. It's Lesmok.
Apraxia gets a decent disable on the occasional victory's bottom deck, but they do not take out enough guns. Apraxia gets loaded up with Watcha Burst. Songbird is going to swing in, and they could very easily get a kill on the Apraxia if Songbird can swing around and bring its Gap Mortar.
Yeah, the occasional victory could not have gotten that disabled at a more opportune time. Now it's acting as a wall for the Songbird to jump back, get everything repaired. Now it's loading Gatling into the Thank You Caroline, but a lot of it is missing. Thank You Caroline getting much more accurate shots on the Songbird because it waited just a minute. Gonna drop Drogue Shoot, or a Shoot Vent, to try and get below the Thank You Caroline and engage on the Apraxia. Beautiful, beautiful piloting from Hephaestus, choosing a different target, and the Apraxia will go down. Perfect decision-making going on right there from Hephaestus. But now it's in a lot of trouble.
Thank you, Caroline is going to have a very good arc on the Songbird. Engine column getting torn apart. He had no chance.
Now the occasional victory is in a lot of trouble. Thank you, Caroline, using hydrogen to rise up and try and stay out of arc of the occasional victory as it loads Gatling into the hull. Flare goes out on the balloon, going to light some 20 stack of fire. But the Apraxia spawns back in. Very close. This is not a meat grind. This is going to be a kill on the occasional victory, and I think GlowWater Thralls are going to pick up this kill.
They absolutely are.
There it goes.
Flamer kill, in fact. Congratulations to the GlowWater Thralls. They take out the Museosaurs for the second game of today's Hephaestus Challenge. Museosaurs, they fought well, but they made a couple very key mistakes, I felt, that led to a pretty swift 5-2 win for the GlowWater Thralls.
I think at this point it was GlowWater Thralls just sort of out experiencing the Museosaurs. I mean, you saw the way that the Thank You Caroline was dancing around the Songbird.
Yeah.
I mean, Fiasco Total is a fantastic pilot. I mean, it goes without saying. And we saw like the Thank You Caroline was constantly in a better position than the Songbird. Getting behind him, the Songbird decides to back up for just a moment. Fiasco jumps on that. And his engineers are ready at the engines. Like they are ready to keep everything going so that the Thank You Caroline can stay on the Songbird. I mean, some good decision making from Hephaestus, knew when to switch targets, but at the end of the day, the GlowWater Thralls just knew how to play their split tactic too well.
That was really impressive on the GlowWater Thralls part. They did a fantastic job of taking apart the Museosaurs, despite some very experienced members on that crew. I definitely think they're having a little trouble gelling and working together in a complete fashion. They do have a couple fill-ins, so that's to be expected, especially on this high level of competitive play.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to go ahead and take a short time out, a short commercial break, and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, folks. You're watching twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show and the Hephaestus Challenge.